So you've started a record label, or you have this idea to start a record label. Awesome. And now you're ready to sign an artist. Maybe you found an artist by deep diving on Spotify or Bandcamp, or maybe it's somebody in your local music community. There's 5 things I need you to keep in mind before you sign this artist, or while you're in the process of meeting with them, negotiating and learning a little bit about them and making sure that you'll work well together. There's 5 things. I want you to hit the brakes first and keep in mind these 5 things. It's really going to help eliminate some pain along the way. And by the way, after you sign your deal and you're good to go with them and you start to release their music, check out our friends at LANDR when it comes to looking for a digital distributor. If you're in the market for a digital distributor, I highly recommend LANDR. They support all of our videos in our community and they're great to us. But more than that, they provide a really, really great service for indie artists and for independent record labels like us. More than just digital distribution, they also have an easy way to do cover songs. They have great mastering tools, incredible suite of promotion tools as well once you release the music. Anyway, go to otherrecordlabels.com/LANDR to check them out. Okay, number 1 is just make sure you like the music. I know that's obvious, but it's actually not obvious because sometimes people can get caught up in certain things. Maybe it's a really cool artist, maybe it has a really cool following, but it's really important that you start this conversation, this relationship, out of a place of fandom, meaning you're a fan of their music. I'll give you 2 examples. I was at a show at a university years and years ago, and I saw this band perform, and they were unbelievable. They were a band of brothers. They had some incredible harmonies. And at the end of the show, we were just forming our label at that time, and I wasn't even really thinking about signing them. The most important thing for me was I wanted to buy a CD. I wanted to buy an album to take home because I loved their set so much. I wanted to continue to hear their music. And I found out they didn't have any music. They had nothing released. They were just a live band. They were pretty young, pretty new. And at the same time, I'm starting a record label, and I'm like, okay, I want to work with these guys. I want to help them make a record so that when people like me come to their show and fall in love with them, they have a record. That was starting a relationship from an incredible place. And I'll tell you what, we ended up going to like a camp and we recorded an album over the course of like 4 or 5 days. And then we ended up releasing this album about a year from when I saw them play for the first time. But here's a negative story. There was another artist, completely different, who had a really big social media following. They were kind of an earlier Instagram influencer, musician type of thing. I was really drawn to the fact that they had this big audience. And I was kind of like, dollar signs in my eyes thinking we could monetize that audience. And I was really thinking about it from a commercial appeal. And their music, although really talented, really good, wasn't really my style. It wasn't the kind of music we were releasing. There was no integrity for me approaching them. It was more opportunistic. And guess what? That relationship went south. We never released anything together. We just weren't a good match. So I'm telling you this, advice number 1, make sure you love the music, genuinely love it. Because then what happens is if the album is not successful, the release is not successful, at least you're still proud of it. And at least you're their number 1 fan. You're happy to have the album. I mean, ask yourself, would you still support this music if you had no stake in it? If you had no financial stake in the music? Number 2 is to check for shared values and shared expectations. Beyond the music, as an artist, as an individual, do you have similar goals as them? Do you have a compatible work ethic? Are they a really hardworking artist in the same way that you are? Or maybe they're super laid back and you're super laid back as well. And you're like, come whatever comes, come what may what come. For most of us who've been in the industry for a while, you can trust your discernment. You can really just literally sit down for a cup of coffee before you agree to anything, or just do a Zoom call and just chat with them and talk about some of the things you're interested in, movies, music, culture. And you'll probably know right away, I think this person is cut from the same cloth as me. That's a good sign. You can trust your instincts. If you're younger and you're new to the music industry, it's okay to work with someone, trust someone, and then realize you're not aligned. It's going to take a couple of years for you to understand and to learn how to judge someone and how to get to know someone. That'll come with time. Honestly, don't try to shoehorn them into your label culture or into the type of artist you want to be. For who they are right there with their music and who they are as a person, their work ethic, some of the things that they value in life, even their political views or the way they respect people, their outlook on money. Is this someone that you're going to be compatible with? Because you're going to be working closely together. You're business partners, essentially, with them. Work with people you want to work with. Don't work with jerks unless you're a jerk. Then you work well together. Also, importantly, find out what they expect from a record label and make sure that you're able to meet those expectations. What do they hope to get out of a deal? Why do they want a record label? Are you able to fulfill that want? My biggest tip, here is have a conversation with them, an informal conversation over coffee, and get some of this out in the open. Tip number 3 is outline your plan. What's your plan as a record label owner? What is some of the things that you do for artists who are on your label, or the releases that you release? What are some of the templates that you've done in the past, some of the success that you've had? When I meet an artist, like I met that artist at at that gig, and I was like, I have a home studio, I have home studio equipment. I think I could record you live off the floor for the most part. I think I could produce your record as well. I had a plan, and I was like, you know what? I think actually what we should do is we should go away to a cottage somewhere and record for a whole weekend, do some field recording, some really cool stuff, take some photos, do some videos while we're there. Then we'll release it this fall. I had a plan. So when I met with them, I was like, here's my plan for you. Don't just be like, I want you on my label because you're cool, I'm cool, we should do this. No, it's be like, I like this album. Maybe I want to reissue this album. Maybe you have an album that's like 20 years old, and you approach the band, you're like, I want to do a vinyl reissue of this album. Or maybe you just discovered an artist and they have no music or one single, and you're like, I like the 2 singles you've done. I want to help you put together an album, or I want to help you get onto some sort of sync licensing deal on Netflix or whatever. You got to outline your plan ahead of time, because you have this strategy, you have this idea, this strategy and this plan that is cohesive and in line with your own abilities and your talents and some of your industry connections. And so you're like, this is what I'm confident we could do for you. The artist hears that and go, that's just not really for me. Maybe they're like, I really just want to go on tour, or I want to just release a ton of music digitally. I don't want to play live. I don't want to do social media. I just want to be kind of like a closet musician and release scores and that kind of stuff. And you're like, oh, I'm actually more into the physical format world. When you show them your plan, they show you their plan or what they hope to have, you're going to realize we're not compatible. And then the relationship ends there early. Whatever it is, whatever's your strength, I don't care what your plan is. We're not talking about having a good plan or a bad plan. The concept here is just to outline your plan. It's almost like a pitch. In fact, you could even just have a template if you want to do this. Maybe you want to have a different plan for each artist and each release. That's fine. That's common as well. Or maybe you're saying, hey, this is what we do. Every 6 months we release a jazz record and it follows this format. And we do 12-inch vinyl. It's black vinyl, and we distribute it to these stores, and we do one live show to promote it. This is the template we follow as a record label every 6 months. Does that work for you as an artist? Number 4, just start small. Don't sign them long-term right away. Gone are the days, I think, when labels are signing artists for like 5-album contracts. In the indie music space, it's not really like that. In fact, I think the best way to kind of build a relationship, of course, you're going to outline your plan. You're going to get things on paper. You're going to kind of make sure that you align with them, make sure you love their music. We've talked about all that. Once that's been established and you're ready to go, I would say, like, let's commit to one project. Let's commit to like a full-length album we're going to reissue, or maybe it's just a single. You've got a new single coming out, or you got an EP, release it through my label. If I do good work for you, if I get you more than you're able to get on your own, then let's work together on the next record. Maybe we sign a 2-album deal after that. But right away, just say, like, let's sign a contract for just one thing, and I want to prove myself to you as a label owner. That's going to really entice the artist. I think they're going to really like that. It's like a slow courtship. You know what I mean? It's not like, hey, let's move in together tomorrow and have kids. Or maybe, you release a single together and they're not totally thrilled with your work ethic or what you did, or more likely you're not thrilled with how they promote their single, and you kind of, it's like, okay, that went okay, but maybe we're not right together, and you're not overcommitted to them. So like the remedy to that is just start with one release. Like we're committing to like promoting the heck out of this one single, and then, maybe we'll talk about something after that. Number 5, this is scary, but put everything in writing or email. You chat on in person or over Zoom or over the phone. They're going to hear something. You might have said something out of context, or you might have promised something that you realize later on you shouldn't have promised. It's best to just have all of that in writing. And even if you do have a conversation and then you say to them, okay, like, what did you take from that conversation? Like, what are some of the expectations you have? Let's get all that on email. Email's great because it's dated and it's somewhat official. I know that when I say get everything in writing, it makes you think that like all of a sudden this relationship's contentious and that you're gonna get lawyers involved. No, it's just like, I remember I was so eager to work with an artist, and we started recording in the studio, and the album was just such a far off concept that we weren't really in a hurry at all. And so I just felt like, we don't need to talk business. We don't need to talk money, because we're just hanging out, recording in the studio for free, because I love the music. I liked the artist. We were close friends. But then all of a sudden, like within maybe a year into the process, we wanted to do a single drop, like out of nowhere. And so I was like kind of scrambling from the business side of things. I was like, oh, by the way, these are the parameters of my label. These are some of the agreements. And they were like, oh, I don't like that. That doesn't. And so I'm like, oh, shoot, I should have like talked to them about this earlier on. And even if, and then there was another time too, where like an artist was like, hey, you know, I paid this for such and such. And I was like, no, I don't think you did. And we had to go back into bank statements like 7 years early. It was a nightmare. And so it's like, just get everything in writing. You don't have to be like followed around by a lawyer who's documenting everything. Like it doesn't have to make the relationship feel uncomfortable. I'm not saying like get a prenup with the artist. I'm just saying like anytime we talk about something, it's like put it in a Google Doc or like a Word doc that only one person can edit, or that it just shows the date. It's like, do you agree to this? Do you agree to this? It's really great. There's this thing called a deal memo in the music attorney world. And like when you sit down for coffee for the very first time, you can show them this. It's not a contract. Nobody's signing anything. It's not an official legal document. But basically, it's like, here are some of the rules or agreement terms that are common with my label. Like we take 50% of royalties. We provide $1,000 advance. We have exclusive worldwide release. You're not allowed to do a project under your artist name for 6 months to a year after we release the release date of whatever we're working on. Like just these like little things, you're just going to get them on paper before anything happens, before you start recording, before you pay in advance or release anything. It's like, these are the kind of the deal points of our record label. Is this cool with you? And maybe they're like, I don't like this one. And so you're like, okay, we'll scratch it out. Anyway, get everything in writing. You'll thank me later. Okay, raise your hand if you've broken any of these 5 rules. If you've been running a record label for just 5 minutes, you've probably broken one of these rules. I've broken all 5 of these. That's why I have real life examples to share with you. But the great thing is when you break those rules, or you have someone like me to tell you not to break these rules, then it makes your life easier, because once you break the rules, you'll never break them again, because they're life lessons. So here we go. Make sure you actually like the music. Are you a fan? Check for shared values and expectations with this artist. You got to do all this before you sign this artist. Outline what your plan is. Start small. Just do one project, a mutual little trial run, and then get everything on paper. That's my advice to you. Don't overthink it though. Just be honest, transparent, upfront with the artist. Thanks again to our friends at LANDR for sponsoring today's video. And thank you for watching. By the way, if you are starting a record label, you need so many different tools and checklists and templates to help you on your way. And you can download all of my stuff for free by going to otherrecordlabels.com/toolkit. Go ahead and put this like fancy little QR code and you can scan it. Or if you don't want to scan the QR code, you could just keep staring at my beautiful face. Maybe you could take a screenshot, print it off, put it in your wallet, or you could just scan this QR code. Thanks for watching.